Welcome to the VinnyRoc Podcast.
I took the blows and did it my way.
It's time. The VinnyRoc Podcast.
The VinnyRoc Podcast would like to thank the following sponsors. Core Medical Group. Core Medical Group distinguishes itself as a prominent entity in the healthcare sector, specializing in offering innovative hormone replacement therapy solutions, which stand as a testament to their commitment to advancing healthcare. Core Medical Group values building enduring relationships and ensuring that each interaction is tailored to meet the specific needs of the professionals and institutions they serve. Learn more now at coremedicalgrp.com. GMR Gold. The Bullion Box by GMR Gold stands as the pioneering offering in the precious metals industry, being the first ever monthly subscription service for precious metals. It manifests as a seamless and innovative solution for those keen on diversifying their investment portfolios with precious metals, making the acquisition of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium uncomplicated and straightforward. To learn more and subscribe to Bullion Box, go to gmrgold.com. Everest.com. Everest stands as the paramount independent outdoor marketplace founded by individuals with a relentless passion for the great outdoors. They are driven by a singular mission: to provision goods for every facet of the untamed and boundless wild, be it hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, survival, and more. So step up, immerse yourself in the diverse tapestry of outdoor life, and let Everest be your guide to transcending the ordinary and embracing the extraordinary in the world outside at Everest.com. Modern Gun School. Modern Gun School provides a tailored learning experience allowing you to study on your terms whenever and wherever it's most convenient for you. Their flexible open enrollment policy means you can kickstart your education for a career as a modern gunsmith immediately. Modern Gun School proudly accepts the GI benefit and vocational rehab, emphasizing their commitment to supporting veterans and individuals undergoing vocational rehabilitation. Embark on a journey of discovery and skill enhancement with their accredited program and carve your niche in gunsmithing with Modern Gun School today. To learn more and enroll, go to mgs.edu. Stay Classy Meats. Stay Classy Meats is deeply rooted in a reverence for time-honored traditions and enduring values, working hand in hand with farmers and ranchers who share a mutual respect for these principles. Stay Classy Meats is not just a brand. It's a movement towards real food, a commitment to quality, and a journey to share a piece of Montana's unparalleled meat quality with the world. To place your order, visit stayclassymeats.com.
What's up, y'all? It's the VinnyRoc Podcast. Let me check my levels. A little high. Make it like a high, like a hiney ho. Do you remember that?
Yeah, make a high, make a hiney ho. Make a hiney ho.
Yes, dude. Thank you for your patience. I'm wearing the same outfit because it's filming on the same day, so they'll be all judgmental motherfuckers.
Motherfuckers.
Jesus. So I have a few sponsors. I need to mention them because they flew you out.
Thank you.
Core Medical Group, dude. Core Medical Group is a testosterone replacement therapy company that I've been working with for about 6 years now. I go on and off testosterone depending on the heart condition, but besides that, when I am on and things are rocking, I feel really good. But the cool thing about that company is that we have completely gone into the veteran space and has changed a lot of lives. So you already know low T can cause some depression, several other things that veterans struggle with. And so when I partnered with them, it was just a huge opportunity for me to hopefully offer some kind of answer for the guys who are struggling with depression, anxiety, and also weight issues. So Core Medical Group flew you out, and I just want to say thank you to them. There's other sponsors. We'll mention them later at the end of the podcast, but we just had In-N-Out.
It was so good. I'm stuffed. Animal style.
This is my first time eating and then doing a podcast. So I'm a little, gotta wake up a little bit. Jesus.
Just burpees or something?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Some burps, maybe, not burpees. Fucking A, man. So for the people who are listening, would you want to give a quick little bio on who you are?
Yep. I am Alex Barone. I am 5'9", based in Los Angeles.
Like long walks on the beach.
Alex Barone, born and raised in Baltimore, live in Los Angeles. Met VinnyRoc through the show Mayans. That's how we blossomed our friendship.
Yes, sir.
And here I am today.
Yeah, Alex, he plays, those of you guys who are just listening and not watching, if you're watching, you know exactly who the fuck he is. But if you're listening, he plays Bottles, which is an incredible character that I was there for the original inception of the idea and got to hear all the little ups and downs of potentials that might happen with your character. And it wasn't easy for me to kind of like, man, your character, we'll just talk about that real quick. Your character in the writing room was the most loved character in the writing room. And remember, and you guys are listening or watching, it's a character that we've manifested in our head and we've created these storylines for. And you never know who's going to act it at the time. I mean, this is months before your name was ever brought up or we even saw your picture from casting.
Haven't heard of this yet.
Yeah. And so you're sitting there and creating this story and you're like, man, Bottles is going to be a very loved character. Just thinking of the little, you know, because when you're writing in the writing room, everyone kind of has ideas and everyone's kind of throwing them. It's like, imagine just throwing an idea into the middle of the pot.
Sure.
And, you know, Elgin wanted this character that was, you know, new to the group, but kind of off. The whole big glasses thing was kind of a cool, just different, very different. But the part of him trying to find his way into the club, right, to find his home, but as well as like, we were gonna watch him on set, kind of find his way through, and which is kind of a cool. For the audience, it's kind of cool because you're like, I think some of the audience feels like, oh man, if I was in this, if I was new, how would I handle it? How would I work? Yeah. And so to get to watch your character go from what he did to the end, it was one of those like, please don't let him get killed because he's kind of a sweetheart. You know what I mean? Sweetheart with an edge.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I had no idea who they were going to have, right? Like I showed up on set and there you go. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Bottles, dude. And it was really cool to see them put how casting does it and how production does it and however they choose that. It's an area of the entertainment industry that I don't know very well, but I enjoy seeing and hearing these stories, but getting to watch everything on paper come to life with you. And then the first scene we did, do you remember the first scene?
Yeah.
What was it?
Hey, you were super fucking cool when I showed up too, because we were talking right before we shot. Remember, it was our first day. Everybody was very welcoming, very family vibes there. The first scene was the same as the audition scene. It was. Was that your audition scene? Who you gonna listen to? Yeah, Downer.
Yes,
and
yes. It was like it was a really good scene.
Yeah.
So those of you guys who are listening, if you've seen the episode where we are, I guess the senior dudes are watching as the younger dudes are moving our guns. There's the AK-47s that we got from whatever deal. And Downer and Weddle are kind of arguing, and Downer kind of gives you an order, and then Weddle gives you an order.
Yeah.
Counters that order.
Go get me a fucking beer.
Yeah, Bottles, go get me a fucking beer. How he does it, right? Yeah. Only how Angel can do it. So beautiful how Downer talks.
So cool.
And then Weddle as well. You fucking listen, prospect?
Yeah.
That whole engagement. So that was your audition?
Yeah, that was the one with the look. So my buddy, actually, Kurt Yeager, who helped me do the audition, help each other tape everything. It was his idea to kind of do the glance with the eyes, because if you remember, I kind of tilt my head down. Yeah. I'm like, I don't fucking know what to do here.
Yeah.
But that kind of pause in between the Downer and Wero saying that, and then looking down beneath the glasses, it kind of made Elgin told me later on. He's like, Bottles, like you said, is kind of a way for the audience to see, or to feel like put themselves in his shoes and kind of get a glimpse of the club and everything, but. The reason why he has those big chunky glasses is also kind of a window to his soul, right? For the audience. It really blows him up.
Yeah.
And that kind of to have that moment was fun. And that was episode 1. That
was
right
episode
off the bat.
1. It was episode 1. It was the first time I met you. First time I met Weddle, Andrew who plays Weddle.
Yeah, my BFF.
when you both walked in, I was just like, it's funny. I've been there 6 years, right? From the first year of the first pilot to the end.
It's awesome.
And I've seen guys come and go. And there's guys that come in that just don't blend with the group for some reason, whether it's ego, whether it's maybe their role wasn't significant enough for us to even give them attention to, right? There's both sides of that. And when you guys walked in, I don't know how everyone else felt, but what I felt is immediately you guys fit in. It just felt right. There was not a weird, and I think there was a little bit of that with Downer because originally he wasn't part of our crew, right? Downer originally was one of the bad dudes across the table that I was like, fuck this dude, bro. So when they say he was in our crew, that for a little bit was like, the fuck we doing that for kind of thing, right? Because there was a little bit of animosity. There was a little bit of ownership of our own club and who the fuck is this dude coming into our club?
Sure.
So even with him, it was a little, I don't know. Now, I love the fucking actor. Like, I love Angel. That guy's fucking... Angel Kendall is one of the best fucking dudes ever. Yeah. And so I love him so much that I actually, when he would act, I was like, does he know this is acting or is it real? That's how good he is. So committed,
yeah.
And so like for him, for me, I was like, oh man, it doesn't feel good that this dude, when you guys came on board, it felt right. And it felt right in a sense, like I saw Watto and I was like, yeah, perfect. And I saw you as Bono, I was like, oh, yes. And the first moment we got to see you guys act was that moment. Like that was all of us got to see it for the first time.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. No, I was just going to say, like, it brought me right back to it. But I felt right for us too. Like it was just comfortable right off the bat.
Yeah. I don't think anyone made you feel weird at all.
No, because it was a little in our, getting in your heads prior to showing up and you're like, oh, I'm coming in 5th, season, not even knowing it was going to be the final or not, but just coming in after you guys all knew each other and then being the new guys was kind of like,
that's never easy.
No, but it felt easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You guys were all family right away.
Yeah. I think we were just excited to be there again. It's always fun. Like the first episode is always a fun, like reconnection with people, but as well as it takes a little bit to be like, oh yeah, we're in it. We're doing this, Yeah. And that scene, I think you guys really helped kind of catapult us into the season and felt really, the energy was live, man. It felt really good. I remember watching you in the scene and I think I laughed just like, oh, that was good. Like it was good because I got to meet you before your Bottles, just as you, right? That day.
Yeah.
But then to see you turn on the character of Bottles and looked very like reluctant to make a decision, not very confident with his actions. That was fucking dope. It was dope. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this dude is good. And I think all of us like, dude, they're good. Like, yeah, they're good. And it was cool.
We got the okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nice. Not everyone gets that, dude. Not everyone gets that. Sometimes you walk around and you're like, dude, what the fuck was that?
Well, you guys made a good energy. I'm still kind of riding the wave of Mayans and thankful for that whole experience. And not even knowing it was going to go beyond that first episode.
Yeah. You had no idea with the character. When you signed your contract, you were just episodic?
Yeah. Yeah. Just like, possible recurring, I think. Or
we'll
something
see
like
how
that.
it goes kind of thing?
See how it goes, yeah. Damn. And then that was kind of the adrenaline rush of the whole thing, was not knowing what the next episode was going to be and what's going to happen. And Andrew and I, being the new guys, would always be on our chair like, dude, do you think everyone likes us? Are we like, are we doing good? Is it?
Dude, I was the same guy season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Season 3, I kind of knew I've kind of solidified myself in the group, but I also still knew I was on a chopping block. I think we're all potentially on a chopping block. With season 1 and 2, I'm like, oh, I'm in another episode. Oh, I'm in another episode. Yeah. And it just kind of kept turning into that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I imagine. But is this considered to you one of your biggest opportunities in acting?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. But you had a movie just before this, didn't you?
Yeah. It's called Luckiest Girl Alive.
That's a pretty big movie.
It was. It did really well.
Was that your other biggest role? Or is there another?
That was, up until that point, the biggest, for sure.
How was it on that set? Tell me about that whole experience of that set.
It was dope, except it was mid... Are those your dogs?
Those are my dogs,
Are they okay?
They're good. My wife just opened the garage.
Oh, okay.
This is what happens when you build a studio in your house, Shit happens. Sorry about that.
Super sweet studio, by the way.
Thank you.
It was 2021, right? Yeah. So it's kind of the height of COVID and everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the same as Mayans, us walking around without mask and that whole rule being passed by then and everything. So it was just weird because there wasn't a lot of hanging out with people outside of set.
Oh shit.
It was mask, it was all that, and then action, and then everyone takes off their mask and you're finally able to connect. But It was cool. Shot it Toronto.
Nice.
Dubbed for New York. So it was fun being up there for like 4 months and
4 months it took to film that?
Yeah.
Was that your biggest payday yet?
I think mine's definitely top that. Yeah. But it wasn't like I was shooting the whole time. It was like 2 weeks quarantine, having to stay there for a long time, so much time in between. So I was just grateful they put me up for the amount of time and made a lot of Canadian friends up there, which was rad.
That's cool. I've never been there.
Dude,
I don't think I've ever been there.
Have you been to New York?
Yeah. My father's from New York, so we've been to New York a few times. Me and my wife went to a boxing match in New York and spent some time out there. I went out there to pitch one of my TV shows for the History Channel. You know, the New York scene.
Sweet.
It's cool.
Pizza.
Yeah. Pizza.
Yeah.
Some pizza in the Big Apple. I did the whole thing where you get to the Times Square and look around the whole kind of crazy, holy shit, big fucking marketing everywhere you go kind of thing.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot, dude. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if people hate this or what, but when I was there, I felt like it was like New York, but smaller, cleaner.
In Canada.
Kind of nicer people. Yeah.
Really?
Toronto specifically.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to go there. I would love to act in places outside of America just to try it. You know what I mean? Like I try to message people on Twitter, like people who share like some of my stuff that are like Indian. I'm like, yo, dog, what's up? Give me an agent. I'll go to India. I'll be in Bollywood. I'll try it. I'd love to film in Japan.
VinnyRoc and Bollywood, baby.
I would do any of it. I would love to try it.
For the experience too. And the culture.
Exactly.
Would you bring your family?
Depends on the gig. Yeah. I mean, shit, if it's a big enough gig, like we're all going. You know what I mean? Like we just finished watching Avatar. My daughter, she didn't watch it yet, so I've seen it several times. Was it the second one? Is it considered second one?
I haven't seen it yet.
Bro.
I know.
It's good.
Yeah.
So there's an emotional scene in it for me. But they filmed that in New Zealand. Yeah. And they filmed the second one and the third one within like however long. So
years.
Yeah. When you do that, you got to bring your whole family. You imagine?
Man.
I don't know.
What a gig.
Fuck yeah, what a gig, dude.
It's cool. That's kind of like the awesome part of our industry too, right? Is like the possibility that could happen. You never really know what your next gig's gonna do or bring you to.
Yeah, I think every gig that you do get is the lottery ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And some of them are the mega billions, you know what I mean? And some of them are not, but they're still a win because it is impossible to land a role. That's how I feel. I would say it's impossible but when you get it, you're like, dope.
Yeah.
But like, it is. I guess when I first got, because the first audition I ever got was Mayans, and I landed it.
That's insane,
like,
dude. That is insane.
Shit. I'm like, I got.
Have you told that story on this?
I don't know.
Can you?
Yeah.
I want to rehear it because I love Wendy.
Wendy's
she was
great.
casting director.
Yeah. So I was, the goal was to get into acting. Not sure really how. It's kind of like everyone else who's like, I want to do it, but by that time, I produced the film with some friends, and so we got an independent film out there. The independent film did extremely well, to the point where it was like the first independent film in Amazon's history to be 3 times at number 1. Like stupid well.
And you shot that in?
We shot that in LA.
LA.
In LA.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I think it was 18 days. We filmed a full feature length film, comedy,
nice.
Just kind of like dark comedy, veteran humor kind of thing. And it did good in our world. And the demographic of like veterans and like dark humor fucking killed it. But like when you produce your own thing, that doesn't mean I didn't have an agent. I didn't have a manager. I've never done an audition because it was my film. Me and my buddies sat in a room and with the writer, and we created this concept. So it was the most unorthodox entry into Hollywood. And then from there, I filmed a short film of a poem I wrote. And that was in film festivals. And then I'm at one of the film festivals, at the GI Film Festival in New York. That was at New York too, wasn't it? I think no, DC. Excuse me.
Wow.
In DC.
Cool.
The host of that event was Jamie Keller. Jamie Keller is a 40-year actor, a former Navy officer who is kind of in the comedy world. You know, he played. He was a major character in what's it called? Not Lost Boys. Damn it, he's gonna be pissed that I even fucked this up. But he was in a major series for a long time. Cool. And then he just kind of landed gigs here and there. And so he was the host, and, we showed our film, and eventually we kind of talked and chopped it up with him a little bit. We did. My film for the PTSD kind of like one I wrote was in it, as well as my movie that we produced, my friend, a year prior. So they're all kind of hit in the same time.
Gotcha. PTSD was the name of the poem?
No, the poem was called The Long Way Back.
Oh, okay.
And he was essentially talking about like going overseas and kind of like kind of losing yourself over there and trying to figure it out again, kind of thing, right? I published the poem and a couple books and stuff, so I just kind of made a film around it. I wanted to kind of visually turn it into something.
Awesome.
And he was like, dude, good film. What are you guys doing? And we were bullshit with him. He goes, come out to LA, man. We do a thing called Dads in Parks, and it's a comedy, and we just do like a skit comedy improv. I said, fuck yeah. So he called me one day. Hey, can you come next weekend? I'm like, yeah. So we flew out there. Me and my boy Jared, was a business partner at the time, friend of mine. And we went out there and did these little improv comedy things.
Yeah,
and
skits.
Genuinely, no script of just, hey, dude, we're going to sit here. We're going to talk about, I'm probably going to talk about how big you are. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? And so I sat down next to him, and he scoots over, and I'm like, I'm not going to kill you, you know? And it just started. And we went back and forth. And he's a great improv comedy dude. And we bounced off each other for a minute, and boom, that one fucking went viral for them. It was the biggest video that Dads in Parks had.
Man,
and
cool.
so we did a couple other ones, but that one was just kind of like damn, that set a presence, right? Then he called me and goes, hey man, I'm filming some more of these. Would you come down? And this time we got a budget from AMC, and we're going to be the pre to the previews. So our videos are going to show before the previews. And at the time it was like Infinity, whatever the fuck, one of the biggest fucking movies of all time was playing. So we were before that.
Shit.
And all of our little comedy things, blah, blah, blah. And people are sending me screenshots like, oh, dude, you're on this. I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm in LA filming this. And when I filmed my first movie, I became friends with Steve Howie. Steve Howie, we just stayed connected. I said, hey, I'm really ready to get into acting. Here's my headshots. Here's my reel. What's next, you know? And so I'm in LA and I go, hey, dude, Mayans, bro. They're still auditioning. By chance, do you know anyone? He goes, actually, Wendy's a good friend of mine.
Damn. Steve Howie from Shameless.
Yes, from Shameless, right.
That's so funny. Dude, I met him at the gym one time.
Did you?
Yeah, anyways.
It's my boy, dude.
That's cool.
That's like my boy. We randomly call each other. He sometimes just calls the vent. I call the vent, whatever the fuck. We've just been really, really good to each other. He's got my book. I sent him my book early and everything. Like, good dude.
Right. Yeah.
So he goes, send me what you got. Send my headshot, send my reel, and send my bio, right? He called me within like fucking an hour and says, dude, they want to see you. I was like, what the fuck's that mean? You know what I mean? And so they sent the email. Me and my wife look at it, we're like, oh shit. And he goes, meet me tomorrow early morning for breakfast real quick. I'm like, all right, cool. So me and my wife show up. It's her first time getting to meet him, so she's like excited.
Sure.
You know, he slides in and goes, all right, man, you've been to war. Okay, it's the hardest shit you can do. When you go in here, don't fucking act like you're surprised or nothing. Shake their hands, do the fucking scene, get the fuck out of there.
He prepped you.
Be off book. I was like, okay. He goes, all right, love you, later. He took off.
Dope.
And my wife was like,
good advice.
was that Steve? I was like, yeah, that's Steve. You know what I mean? Kind of just real quick meeting. And I took that to heart, though. I took what he said. He said, he didn't want me to go in there and being like just happy to be there. He said, no, dude, you're a professional. You know, you've done harder shit in combat. Go in there and own the fucking place and then shake their hand and walk out of there. He didn't want me to be like, oh, I'm just happy to, oh my God, you're Kurt Sutter. Oh my God, you're Elgin. He didn't want me to be that.
Yeah.
He wanted me to just be like,
you.
Here I am. Boom, boom, boom. You know?
Yeah.
And so when I showed up, I brought my wife with me because I didn't really understand this. But John Berthal laughed at me about this. He goes, you brought your fucking wife to an audition? I was like, I did. I
guess it worked.
I didn't think about it. But so we went to an audition. It was only Wendy. We did the tape.
Yep.
We flew back home because our vacation was done. And in the airport, when I got to El Paso, we got the other saying, he wants to see you tomorrow. I said, oh shit. I said, I can't make it tomorrow. The next day I can. She goes, okay. Boom. Flew back in.
Right back.
My dad brought me this time. And I took my dad to the audition like a dumbass. Don't know any better.
Not that dude. It's great.
Yeah. My dad goes,
start doing that.
My dad goes, hey, Vinny, you think they can get me a role? I'm like, I don't even have a fucking role. What are you talking about? So it's so oblivious to us how hard it is to land a job. We don't know. This is our first go at it, and we all think like, I'm getting it. My dad's probably getting a role too. Maybe my wife. Fuck it. Like, I don't know shit, right? Go in there, and they gave me two characters. One's a tough guy, and the other one's a comedic guy. And at the end of this podcast, I'm going to add my second audition. I have it. I have the tape.
You have the tape?
Yeah, I have the tape, so I'll make sure I show you guys.
From when he sent it to you?
I have the tape from just the other day. I called and said, do you have it? And he goes, yeah. And they sent it to me, and I screen record it, so I have it on my phone.
I thought you were going to say your dad was taping in the corner.
No, imagine. No, so then I did the first audition to Tough Guy. Done. Then I go into the second guy. They say, you want to sit down? I was like, yeah, I'll take a seat. Different look. Sat down, and I'm doing the lines. And I remember blacking out like, fuck, did I hit the lines or not? But when I came to, everyone's laughing, right? I was like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Everyone's laughing. Got up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Went to give me a hug. Left. By the time I got home, I had the job.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's fucking crazy.
The whole plane ride at home too, where you're just like,
She's
I
like,
don't know, questioning.
yeah, she's like, how'd it go? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. I kind of blacked out. You know what I mean? One of those things.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's great, man. That's a really cool story. And I feel like part of the craziness you said of bringing your dad and being like, in our head, sometimes we think, yeah, this is going to happen and this could happen. And then I can get him a role and this and that.
Yeah.
Is also a good quality though to have, I think, in this industry a little bit of that kind of hopefulness.
It's the hopeful dreamer. It's the dreamer. This could happen. It could happen.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I remember what we thought. I'm not sure if you thought this too with Mayans, was like, life's going to change. And this is it. This is the big break.
Sure. Everyone feels like a big break.
Right? Like every episode, maybe every scene, you're like, this could be the scene. This could be the thing.
Yeah.
And then it slowly deflates. You're like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't that thing. It's so...
But the next thing.
Yeah. And I know that because like I go through it and there's no way I'm just like some psychopath who thinks like that. But I've heard other guys do the same. Is that something you do as well?
I think everybody does it. Yeah. In their head. Yeah.
Fuck, man. What was your favorite scene that you got to do as Bottles on Mayans?
Man, I feel like the whole experience was dope. 10 episodes on it, and every episode had a little bit of a unique part of Bottles come out. I think all the stuff with Amigo was really cool.
Really cool.
And then actually, you know what the coolest part was so I was born a little different, right? I was born with 3 fingers in both hands in a condition called fibular hemimelia, which basically means I don't have the fibula bone in my right leg. So because of that, when I was born, my right leg was shorter than my left leg. And I had to have a series of what's called limb lengthening surgeries in order to extend my bone in my right leg and make it equal to my left leg. So I've had 45 surgeries between ages 7 and 17.
Yeah.
And ultimately, my legs are equal now. Everything's good. There's no pain or anything. My hands have never been an issue because when you're born with something, you just adapt. You don't really know the difference. I'm kind of like a real life ninja turtle. But where I was going with that was in Hollywood, in this industry, TV and film, right?
Yeah.
It was always when I first said I want to be an actor, I was questioning whether or not I could because of my hands and because of I just didn't know if I would only get roles.
Is that all they're gonna see?
Right. The coolest part about Mayans was that they didn't talk about my hands once, which was rad, Velgen, and all you guys, all the writers. But I had told that story, I think, to you and maybe Brett Dos Santos once about all the surgeries I had. But they had never asked if they could put it into the show or anything. Yeah. They didn't want to make like my condition a thing as Bottles. You know what I'm saying? But when I told them about my surgeries and they're like, oh, that's interesting. Would you care if I told the team that, the writers team? I was like, yeah, of course. And then when you guys came back and said, hey, we want to incorporate that into Bottles' story, that was probably the highlight of the show for me. Yeah, because it was like the first time, and I've done roles where they mention it or it's a thing and it's part of the character's journey. And,
right.
But this one was told in a different way than it's been told before. It wasn't like a sad quality to Bottles. Yeah. You feel for him because you're like, oh damn, he had that many surgeries and this and that. But it made him more gritty, like a badass, because he's like, in that whole scene where I'm breaking down to my amigo and I'm like, dude, I had all the surgery. So that motherfucker, like, I'm going to knock him out when I can. Yeah. He rose above, he's the underdog.
Yeah, super dope.
And I think people root for the underdog. It's a really cool
moment, that one.
Yeah.
That was a really cool moment. And it made us all hate fucking homeboy. What was his name? What was the character's name? Lobo. It's all like, fuck him up, bro. Then he OD'd. I was like, all right, good.
I know. He's so sweet offset too, though. Like,
oh, dude, he's a sweetheart. Everyone's great.
Everyone's awesome.
That was great.
For sure, that was the highlight, though. Just because it was cool to finally share my real story. It didn't feel like I was acting in that moment, because I was sharing my story.
That's a big part. Like, my character was like, I had to differentiate who Vince was and who Gilly was, or what the other Rocco is and who Gilly is, right? Yeah. And that's a tough one because like they're very similar. And when I went to kind of character development and trying to develop the difference, and this is some of the work I did with my acting coach, was Anthony Gilardi. Shout out to my boy.
What's that?
It was like, what is different between me and him, and Gilly, he's willing to risk his family for the mission. Vince, Rocco, is not.
Would never, yeah.
Right. And so it's really cool, and it made it really easy to know who Gilly was and who I was.
Sure.
And as much as some people probably see the similarities, like I internally know the differences. And that's what to me made like Gilly even cooler to me. I was like, oh, this is fun to play. This
Did
is
it
like
get easier over the 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
6 years, yeah.
Like the last season was kind of a cool part of Gilly questioning that too, right? When his son drives off, that moment of like, is this even right? Like questioned it. Like that's something that the Gilly character probably never would have in that moment, but now he's spending time with this kid. Yeah. You know, and he's starting to like, oh man, this kid, this is my boy. I think that was really cool. And that was some nuanced shit that I think a lot of people were like, damn. I mean, I had guys tell me like, you fucking left your family, motherfucker, on social media, right? But like, it was a really cool thing, and being able to differentiate that was cool. But it was cool that they also did the same for me when they asked my story and they asked, can we use it? You know, I think it's the same. It didn't feel like acting at times. And people were messing with me like, bro, it felt so real. I was like, well, sometimes it is, right? Sometimes it is. And so that's what it was for me and playing Gilly and some of those little veteran stuff.
Do you think that there was kind of bits of truth in every actor that was hired and their character that the writers kind of picked up on?
I know so.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that they watch and they're like, interesting. I know that. But also, like, why wouldn't you? Right? Why wouldn't you keep them grounded in a sense?
Yeah.
With it, you know? And I think that's something that I think there's a little bit of Bishop in you, right? And there's a little bit of Easy in you, and there's a little bit of Angel in you as well. Like I think we can all find a little bit of ourselves in every single one of these characters.
Yeah.
Right. There's a part of us that does exist in real life, and I think that's what if you're an actor, you have to be vulnerable enough and open enough to know all of those levels of yourself to say, yeah, I could play that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's how I see it. As in, like, if they say, hey, Alex, we're going to make you a serial killer. There's a part of you that's probably like, oh, man, I would never do that. And then you could probably say, but if someone hurt my mom, I'd kill the fucking world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've definitely thought about it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I see it. Like, I could play anyone. Sure. You know, I don't want to play certain characters because it's too early in my career, but I feel like I don't want people to see me as that, right? Sure. Like, I'm the bad guy no matter what in everything I audition anyways already, right? Like, I know, every audition, oh, bad guy, okay. Bad guy, okay. Big bad guy, okay. Right? You know what I mean? So that's like...
Your teddy bear, though.
No, they don't
let the world know.
Fuck,
teddy bear.
I know. Which character of mine would you have wanted to play outside of Bottles? Even though Bottles is great, I think your character is fucking dope, and I don't think anyone else could ever do that role the way you did it.
Thanks.
But what other one, if you had the chance, like, ooh, I'd love that opportunity as an actor to attempt those ranges, those levels?
I think I don't know. We might have to come back to this one. Let me switch it around a little bit. But off the top of my head, I think I loved Andrew. I love Guero's like hot-headedness.
Yes, that was cool.
Character that kind of has that, just because I'm in general I'm more of like chill. I'm more like chill kind of vibes, and I'm impulsive as fuck, but I'm not like Guero.
I think there's impulsive. A lot of truth in Guero's character in Andrew. And I'm saying there was the version of him before in his past. Yeah, because man, he was so honest.
Yeah, he's rad too. He's a great actor. He's in it. Yeah,
we're supposed to fly him out here as well. We're gonna get him out here soon. But that one scene where I was holding him back, I got emotional because he was emotional, and it made me emotional because I felt it. Like I'm holding his chest, and I'm like,
in the Templo after he shot. Yeah. Yep.
It was like, God, I think
everybody. Yeah. What the audience doesn't see is the 100 people behind the camera, right?
They don't.
And they all feel it too.
They never see. Like everyone's like, oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, cut, do it again.
Yeah. Wipe those tears off, motherfucker. Let's go again.
What scene as an actor? So I've been writing kind of like my Mayans journey, kind of like a book, a little bit. It is, but when I get it done, you know, right now it's just pages.
Can't wait to read it.
But you know what? I've written a lot so far about watching other people act, like and watching guys like Michael Irby, right? Guys like
Beast.
All those scenes that we're privy to, that not everyone gets to see from the angle that we get, right? Was there something this season that stood out to you that you're like, shit, that was powerful?
scene or just performance or anybody?
Any of it.
I think I haven't been in like Luckiest Girl Alive was such a great experience, but because it was COVID time, it wasn't as collaborative on set as Mayans was. Like Mayans and Elgin and you guys and everybody behind the camera was so welcoming to be like, come sit in Studio Village and watch this next scene, or if you have questions, and it was that collaborative where it felt
kind of like interactive almost.
Like it felt like you were part of the storytelling even when it wasn't your scene or your thing. But I thought it was really cool to watch JD act and direct in the same episode. And that was also the scene that I was talking about earlier with telling kind of my story. So I felt like that whole day was really special. But what a like powerhouse to go from acting and then having direct and then keep everybody on set kind of pumped and positive and doing the side speeches he was doing to everybody. And
the way he does it, very hands-on, and it's cool to have a director who's an actor, right? Because they know the journey that we're on, right? They know the headspace that we're on. And they also know exactly kind of what to say to pull what he's looking for as a director. And I thought that was like, so I'm doing the scene where we buried Homeboy, dude.
Yeah.
And he's directing it.
That's right.
And, we're doing a scene. It's funny. It's odd, right? Right? Like, where we just like,
that's fun as hell.
Yeah, it was a fun little scene.
It was like 1 a.m. We're like,
yeah. Who's hungry? Whatever. I didn't like
anyone else hungry?
Yeah. Didn't you say you're the one who said I didn't like him? Anyone want to say anything?
I never really liked him.
No one liked him. Downer. What a cool. That's part of like the bottles. That's fun, bro. Because you like in the real world of this MC culture that we have, you weren't supposed to say shit, but just be the prospect.
Sure.
And in our world of like our MC and how it works is you just tend to speak out. You know what I mean?
Honest.
And that moment was such an honest, like, I didn't really like him. And then down, like, no one really liked him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. And then, the way we tied it up with like who's hungry kind of thing, the emotional shit. Like, that's when Gino looks at me and goes, or Gino's character, Nestor, looked at me and goes, hey, you're an OG. And I was like, oh, fuck. That was fast as fuck for me to be an OG all of a sudden,
Sure.
Which I thought was a really cool scene. But the way JD directed that,
that was a powerful scene, by the way, right? Because you had talked about your time served, and kind of tied it in as almost like a memorial to Lobo, or spoiler alert.
That's right. If you haven't watched it yet, it's your fault. It's your bad. It's your bad. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and the way he pulled that out of me too was because this is a huge acting podcast, which I don't care. I think it's cool, but to explain it is when we read the script, we make a decision as actors how we're gonna present those words. Mm-hmm. And when I read that script, I didn't read that as an emotional part. I thought it was kind of a banter, like your part and his part. I thought it was all just kind of almost throwing the line, but not so much. It was just more of like information. So then we just say, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. But JD wanted emotion out of me, and so he mentioned that, and I'm like, okay, and then he pulled some emotion at me, which is really cool. And he was like, fuck, Rocco, that was so good. I'm like, oh yeah. But I wouldn't have even got there because I didn't think it was supposed to be there.
Sure.
He's the one who told me he wanted it there, which is like part of the really awesome directing that he did.
Yeah. Isn't that funny too? Like you have to sometimes you read the script and be as prepared as you think you should be or are going to be.
Yeah.
And then if somebody's like, dude, actually we went this whole other way, and if you're not in a vulnerable space and be like just willing to fail and say fuck it, I'll try it. I'm not prepped though at all.
Yeah,
it's exciting. It's
fun,
scary, but
dude.
it's exciting. Yeah.
Is there outside of acting? What do you do to get like your adrenaline?
Jiu-jitsu, the gym.
Damn, I wish you were here longer. We could have gone to my gym.
Yeah,
I just started going again recently. It would have been cool to just roll with you. I just got to open that for us. Yeah, we'll do it.
And then I do this like traveling kids camp for kids like me, kids with limb difference. So I travel all around the United States, 12 different locations, and be a kid basically at a summer camp.
Do a lot of those kids have the same exact limb difference as you, or is it common?
No, the condition that fibular hemimelia is not. I think it's like 1 out of 40,000 maybe. So not super uncommon, but. No, so it's limb difference and limb loss. Some of them are born, like I'm congenital. I was born like this. a lot of them are from accidents, lawnmower accidents, infection as a kid, bacterial or meningitis or something like that. And all walks of life. I think the really cool thing about this camp, it's called Camp No Limits.
Camp No Limits?
Yep.
Cool. Where's it at?
So based out of Maine, but they have 12 around the country.
Cool.
Maine, here in Texas, California, Idaho, Maryland, all over, Florida.
Cool.
But the rad thing is that you go at any age, right? Like 3, sometimes even younger than that. But 3 is when they start to know what they're doing and talk to other kids and stuff. 3 all the way up to 18, and then after 18, they come back as mentors themselves. So they'll have people like me come in, an adult person with limb difference, to be the counselor, and to do the physical therapy, occupational therapy, support groups, that kind of stuff. But mentors to show the kids that, when they grow up, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And I'm an actor, and there's other people that are Olympic gold winning ice hockey champions, so we have mentors from all walks of life.
That's cool because they get to see that, their limb difference isn't like can't or won't or shouldn't hinder their future potential dreams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a camp where the whole family can come too. So it's not beneficial for the kids, but the parents that are like come from these small ass towns.
Yeah, they probably don't have a community to confide in.
Yeah. Lack of resources. So
that's cool.
It's really cool.
I had a guy on here named David Vabora. He runs it's called Adaptive Training Center here in town. Next time you're in town, we're gonna check it out.
Right.
But it's a bunch of veterans who've lost limbs.
Oh wow.
And amputee, single amputee, double amputee, triple amputee, doesn't even fucking matter. He puts them through workouts and gets them through. It's like kind of almost like a boot camp kind of thing.
That's
really
so cool.
fucking dope.
For vets only.
I think it's for vets only. I think you might even have some law enforcement, but I know that the whole thing was intentional for vets. But next time you're in town, we'll go and work out there as well, so you can meet him. He's
That'd be awesome.
Incredible dude. He's a former NFL football player, and then turned to doing that. And
wow,
just great dude. You would love him, and he'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exactly.
Texas has a pretty big amputee community, right? Or population. Is that because of vets?
Veterans.
Yeah.
Texas has a massive veteran population,
Yeah.
And I know he's been running this program out of Dallas for a long time. And so he has guys who come in and out of this program, and then sometimes they graduate from the program, come back and become coaches or mentors there.
Oh, that's rad.
It's really, really cool. What he does is pretty fucking awesome. So I think you would really love that.
Cool.
We just had a border station get hurt, and we're still waiting to hear back how long it's going to take her to recover. But she just lost a limb.
Oh wow.
In an accident that happened down in Yuma sector. So yeah, I was going to try and connect them eventually once she's ready to get back at it. But cool. I just love that you do that kind of shit, man. I think it's
rad.
You as a kid, did you have someone that you looked up to in the same manner?
I didn't know. That's kind of why I feel like I've been doing this now for 8 years, going to this camp as kind of a mentor, is that like now I could be that role model that I didn't have as a kid.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really know, definitely not on TV. I didn't know anybody like me, and there's a small community now, me and my buddy Kurt, he's also an amputee. We're chasing it. We're trying to do it. We're trying to change the way, relationships with writers like yourself and other people to kind of change Hollywood and make it a more seen normal thing. Cause you go out in your daily life and you see amputees all the time,
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting how Hollywood is always years behind the norm. It seems like it's like writing is always 10 years late. So, and I say that it's like for me, so my biggest struggle is that I was a federal agent with fucking neck tattoo and hand tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a federal agent tatted up. They'll never see me as a federal agent. Hollywood still to this day will not do it because it's so odd for them. They're
to wrap their head around.
Right, to wrap their head around that.
Even though it's truth.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's truth. Even though it's truth, it's unheard of to them.
Sure.
I've worked with FBI agents who are fully fucking covered. Full blasted neck, hands, everything just like me. And I was like, oh, that's dope. It's actually one of the inspirations like, oh, if he can do it, I'm going to do this too because fuck it, right?
Right.
I never thought I was going to leave. But then you get to Hollywood and like, no one sees me as a cop. No one sees me as a soldier, bro. No one. They see me as the bad guy.
Sure.
And obviously not the same, but the same. As in, for some reason, it's like we have to go in here and hopefully start changing minds. Be like, no, dude. Like, I can be a big, scary looking dude and still be a sweetheart and a teddy bear, right? But for some reason, I actually think it's better. You know what I mean? I think it's better to show these truths that we see daily.
Yep.
And also not just like expose them, but like I think humanize them for the world, right? It should. There's a little girl, I think she's like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I don't even know. I don't know her age at all, but she's deaf and she's on a TV show. And I've been following her as an actress because I'm like impressed. Like, fuck yeah.
Rad.
That's dope as fuck, dude,
Yeah.
that they fucking did it right. Where they're not kind of like, oh, well, she's deaf. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
She's a great actress. You know what I mean? And so the fact that it's starting to be kind of a new wave of that is nice.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool. And like you said, guys like writers have to be able to soak that in and tell those stories too.
It's almost like you need to prove it, right? Like, how do you prove it to the industry?
Yeah.
Other than roles here and there, and everything's kind of a little stepping stone or a building block. But I think you need to be doing other stuff outside, like you're doing here, the VinnyRoc Podcast. So people actually know you, and then you're, how you're going to get them to change their mind, and how you're going to get them to see that.
It's partly the motivation writing the book.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't see me as a federal agent? Well, here's my book.
And now do you believe me?
I fucking was. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of a dude doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a picture in my uniform, hands just blasted, and there's dope all behind me. I'm on my knees in my uniform, right? I think it's super cool because it's kind of, and then there's another one where I'm in a helicopter and I'm like this, you know what I mean?
Man.
And my hands tatted up. I'm fucking kitted out, about to go run a mission on 2 escaped convicts, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I did that shit, dude. Fucking, I guess that's the other reason why you as well have turned to writing.
Yeah.
Because how else do you kind of control your own destiny if no one's going to write for you? Why not write for yourself?
You have to. You can't just be one thing anymore in this industry, I don't think.
You're right. I think you limit yourself when you do that because you're just hoping to fucking God that one, you win that lottery ticket of landing a role, and two, someone sees you as that person that they want to write about, right? Or the character they want you to portray.
And maybe that works in the beginning.
Yeah.
But even creatively, right? It's like, do you think you became a better actor when you started writing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it makes you more well-rounded understanding the writing as well.
Yeah.
Right. What's
and how much goes into it, because it's hard as fuck. At least I think, unless you like really commit.
I have a lot
15 minutes a day or something.
Yeah.
Whether it's shit or
I noticed I have to give myself 2 hours to actually get something done, or else I won't. Because or else 15 minutes, that's just thinking. That's thinking and questioning and like, nah, maybe not. You know what I mean? 2 hours is enough for me to sit down and be like, oh God, go through all the phases of like getting started, and then you get started, and then you're on a groove. You know what I mean? But if I don't give myself 2 hours, I'll never get anything done. Because I've sat there and looked at the script for like an hour and be like,
waiting for inspiration.
Yeah,
waiting for
it's like it's not working.
Yeah.
Or just I'm so insecure. I'm working on a faith-based film right now.
Great.
And I didn't want to look at the script at all. And then I finally looked at it because I'm rewriting is what I'm doing, rewriting and cleaning up. And I finally read through it cover to cover, everything. And I was like, all right, cool. I know what I need to do. I was so insecure about this because sitting there reading these things, I'm like, God, I got to fix someone else's work. I don't know if you know what I mean? All those insecurities step in.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, cut this out, cut this, add this, boom, boom. I feel like now I feel really good about it. But it's like partly I just, the imposter syndrome.
Sure.
Still is always lingering. I think even in acting, it's just part of me like, eh. It's like it took me 3 years to put actor on my Instagram because I didn't believe. I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
I'll probably
tell
change it.
herself.
Yeah.
It keeps you a little bit motivated, right? Keeps you
Yeah.
grounded, having that mentality a little bit. But I think even the best writers or best actors still think that way sometimes.
Yeah. What's your dream role?
Man, I feel like just something, keeping it fresh, keep doing different things. I think not to bring up the hands thing again, but continued roles like Bottles where it's not mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing about kind of diversity in this industry is it hasn't really been found sexy yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that once it's found sexy, like once there's somebody on screen with difference or disability or whatever you want to call it, that makes it sexy, right?
Yeah,
and makes it more mainstream. That'll be the thing where the people will be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I could see that now, as opposed to I don't think they can see past it.
Right
It's
now. Like the trailblazers, man. You need those outliers to change.
Yeah,
it's the disruptors, the people who really change thought. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, it's bad. It's like, right now we have a big push for Latin and Hispanic actors, and it's like
proud and proud.
Exactly. And when you see some of our actors doing it, and you're like, fuck yes, and that's proving we can hold the lead role.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, or we can write. There's some writers out there right now. The writer of He's so dope, and I can't even think of his name. I'm an idiot. I'm watching the show I actually auditioned for called Primo. Fucking dope, dude. It was fun. It was a funny show, and I Googled it, and it's a Hispanic writer. He lives out in San Antonio. I'm trying to get a coffee with him. Huh?
Cousin, right?
Yeah, Primo. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I
cool.
auditioned for it too, man. But and now it's like, oh, it looks like a cool film. I'm gonna check it out. When I saw it come out, I just saw who got it. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. A little bit of like, fuck, dog.
Yeah.
I'm better than that. No. Actually, I think all the actors did really well, and they cast it really well. And it's a cool film. But the writer and creator of that, he lives in San Antonio, so I've been trying to bug him for a cup of coffee.
Oh, cool.
Like,
That'll happen.
Just give me a cup of coffee, bro.
Where you at?
Yeah, let's just talk, bro.
Yeah, about the next one.
What are you working on right now with writing?
I'm working on a comedy. I wrote a pilot for a show, and then I think it would just be really rad. And it incorporates kind of my world that I'm used to, working with people with differences, but in a funny way, something new to TV.
Yeah.
And then a film. Let me send it to you. See what you think.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm down. What's for acting right now is obviously we're all on a strike. I don't think when I post this, this is gonna go up in like 2 weeks. I think we'll still be on strike. Yeah. And and I don't think anyone's gonna be working until January, February, and that's usually late January, right? Right. Is that what you think is the same?
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. I don't know.
What a pain in the ass. Isn't it?
Sorry, time to hang with family. Time to catch up on other stuff.
Yeah, I fucking guess. I don't know, man. It's like, as much love hanging out with family. I'm like the guy that's like momentum was on my side and then mine stopped. I'm like, fuck.
Oh yeah.
So I'm still, I'm still grinding it out, but like, I didn't need that. You know what I mean? Like it's like I felt like every time things are going right, it's like bang.
It'll pick right back up though. Yeah, the momentum will be there.
I had a meeting for a really good role, and right before.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
You were telling me about that. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to ask you again, what character would you want to play in Mayans?
Man, I thought that I was going to be thinking about that, but hadn't thought about it since. I'm going to stick with with Guero.
Yeah, Guero was great.
Yeah, I think the hothead, or just that a character like that would be a lot of fun to play because it's a little different than me in real life.
I like Michael Irby's character, right? Bishop. Is something so cool about that. I think the challenge for me is like, I don't know if I could pull off how good he did it, right? Like,
of course, yeah.
So good that I'm like, oh, I would love to play that role. I just don't know if I'm there yet. As an actor, I just feel like he's so good.
He's a great actor. Bishop in general, though, his character is cool because it's kind of like, it's like the guy, every thought you have that you would want to say out loud that we don't because we're scared or we can't, he does it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like our imaginary best versions of how we'd want to be.
Yeah, man. It's
just like having the balls to say, fuck it and just do it, whatever he wants.
What I loved about him was when we're on set, he always kind of kept it alive, right? He was always like just fucking... almost like he had like, hey dude, chill, we're trying to focus here now. I thought that was really cool about him. But the coolest thing about it is that not everyone can do that. Not everyone can show up and fuck around the whole time, talk shit the whole time, and then they say action and they turn up the best version of them. Mm-hmm. There's some actors that show up and don't want distraction, don't want anyone to bother them, don't want to pull them out of their fucking zone.
Yeah.
And I think he's just so professional and so off book and so ready that he can do whatever the fuck he wants. When you say action, he's on. Yeah. And I found that like I looked up to that because I know that but sometimes I can have like one line and I'm scared I'm going to fuck up that one line. And I'm so scared I'm going to fuck up the line. I keep reading it.
Overthinking it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just watched him like, okay, him and Danny Pino for me were like the most professional shit. Like I feel like I had JD is fucking professional as fuck. Very. But Danny Pino, I guess because I work with JD so much, it's all I know of him is I expect the best out of him. He's just great. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Consistent.
Irby's character was so rad, but Irby himself is so wild to see him just turn it on right when they say action. I think is fucking dope. But Danny Pino, I've seen him fucking do like 3 pages, no hesitation, no flinch, no fuck ups. And I'm just like, holy fuck, this dude is real.
He was one of the first people I met that first day too, hanging out. They were filming a scene, going back, meeting him. He's Cuban as well. Yeah. My mom's Cuban. And he was another one like JD where I got to see him act and direct.
Yes.
And it was rad.
His directing was my favorite.
Yeah.
And I say my favorite is in like I had some heavy roles and he was the guy. And he was always just gracious as like the actor, right? The directors who've been actors, like they really get.
They get it.
They get it.
Yeah, I was listening to your podcast with Irby. And he was saying, you guys were talking about that, how he was on set and then straight into being on scene, action, go. And he's saying he needed that, right? He almost needed to be like that. I think that's what he said. I think that's a good quality to have because he was in it. He was always in his character, but also himself.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes sense. Yeah.
You're talking about Irby, how he gets like crazy, how he just.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. But here talking to you, he was like, I needed that.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to be like that for you guys.
Yeah.
So you could believe me as Bishop.
Yeah. Everything he did was strategic. Like, and not in a rude way, not like he's pulling the wool over our. No, he genuinely, he created an environment that he wanted us to have. And that's fucking crazy. Like that's how dope he was. Dude, he's someone super special to me. And I think I have a more of a connection with him in the sense of like personally, like, connected to him as a person because I was just on my last podcast with Flo. We were talking about how film and television, it could be 10 minutes or an hour out of someone's life, but it can change someone's life, or it's not even just, you can be the freedom that they have for that moment.
Sure.
Then they have to go back to the real life. And us overseas, we're dealing with, you know, potential like death and going to missions. But then when we're home, not even home, like when we're home from the mission as in at our hooch in between chow and the gym and reloading our magazines for the next mission, we're watching The Unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's your kind of escape, right? It's
exactly.
Your safety net.
It's that escape for the moment that you needed to just kind of like blur the rest of the chaos in our heads for that moment of like, man, what a fucking dope show. Put the next one on. Put the next one on. Stay up late as fuck. Don't care. Just keep watching. And I found it a little bizarre and odd that he was the first person to sit next to me on the bus trip to Mexico.
Man.
It was just like if the Lord was giving me a fucking message,
Sign.
like, here it is. Boom.
Yeah.
Guess who sits next to you, big dog? And I remember I sat there, I'm like, what am I going to say to him? You know? I mean, like, how do you introduce yourself to the dude who just kind of like was a big part of like keeping your mind right overseas?
Some wild moments for you too during that time, right?
Bro,
I mean, you saw it all.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like he was one of the guys who we looked at on film who took us away from the moment.
Wow.
And I was just like,
had you told him this after
he
the
knew
fact?
I told him on the bus ride.
Oh,
we
cool.
talked for fucking 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I looked at him, I go, Betty Blue. And he goes, yeah. like boom, bro. He goes, you veteran? I was like, I was. He's like, fuck yeah, man. He goes, who were you with? And I was like, 2nd 75th Ranger Regiment. He goes, fuck yeah. Boom, bro. And we just ripped for the next 2 hours, dude. And he was just this really like, what the fuck did my life turn into? Like, we never imagined in a million years I'd be sitting next to the dude I watched, you know what I mean? And now I'm on a show with him, acting beside him. Fucking crazy.
But when you were in your hooch, you call it?
Yeah.
Watching it, did you had because you said you had the acting bug a lot prior to that. Did you?
I don't think at that time in my life I ever thought it would ever come to life.
Not even somewhere back there, like you saw it, you could see it.
I'll say this. It's funny. We used to have a camera we used for SSC, which I can't even tell you what those letters stand for anymore. It's like search. Like once you're done doing a mission in a house. So if I came in and did this mission, I would grab everything in here that's electronic so we can go do like intel dump on it, try and pull all the information.
Oh, sweet.
Right. And so we'd film all of the house so we knew where everything came from and we would kind of identify. So I guess we just kind of get a visual of the house every time. Mm-hmm. And so I would use that camera to film short, like little movie skits.
That's right. Fuck yeah. On base?
Yeah. We were overseas, but I'm in Afghanistan, bro. And I remember filming a scene, put my stuff on, and we're just talking. It was hard to get serious because no one else was as serious as I was, right? And the character, I was playing a character called Ox. And my boy was Dom. And we were trying to play this kind of, it was our first attempt at filming some kind of movie-ish, you know what I mean? And I don't know where those videos ever gone to, if they ever exist anymore, but I remember telling
I hope they surface.
Yeah, it'd be so funny. It would be embarrassing, but I remember telling one of my dudes, like, I want to make movies. And so I wonder if they remember that at all.
He spoke it.
Yeah. kind of wild.
I'm sure they remember. Do you keep up with any of your brothers in there?
Sometimes, some of them. You know, it's so weird how the world goes.
Yeah.
Some of them. Actually, I know exactly who I can get a hold of who would probably get a hold of the guy that I'm thinking of.
Ox and Dom.
Ox and Dom, bro.
Well, what else are you going to do to occupy yourself? I mean, right?
Man.
Work out.
I used to write a lot.
Cards, right?
Dude, so I wrote a song the other day. No one probably heard that. I wrote a song the other day, and we're doing a documentary, and my buddy's doing a documentary on veterans writing music. So I'm one of the guys in this documentary writing my music. And he said, when did you start writing? I was like, in the military. I have these green books, a bunch of notes and stuff I wrote on. It's like, really? Like, yeah. And so he's like, can you grab one? Yeah. And I grabbed one. And bro, I almost broke in tears. This is my daughter.
Oh, man.
This is my daughter. I put it into the inside of one of my books. And this is like one of the first poems I've ever written in here. And so I wrote it. I read it in that thing. And in this, it's just writing like this. A slow, sad, depressing song is my life. Depressing life is what I've been given to fight. That's all I'm worth to the world. Like that's I mean like Jesus, bro, what are you going through? You know, but obviously this is like you know, just the hard times I was going through in the military and stuff, and these are all the books of that. This is the beginning of me as a writer.
Had you opened those prior to your buddy asking about it?
No, dude.
They're just
and I lost it.
Yeah.
I read it and I
Took
lost
you right back.
it. And I showed it to him. I said, "It's crazy. I'm excited for that film to come out to see, but it was the first time I've even opened these. I've had these with me for years, dude, since 2003. Different ones, like probably 2003, 2004. You know what I mean? I just kept writing them, and I've never opened them. I've just left them. I asked my wife when we first met. I said, I have these books, and I'm going to ask you to never open them and read them because I don't know what I've written in these, but I know they're just mine. These are my journal. You know what I mean? And so in these, out of respect, just leave them, let them be my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I promise that to all my kids. If you guys have a journal, I will never read it.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what you write in that. It's yours. I'll never cross that line because I don't want someone to do that to me. And in one of these other ones, that big green one, is the first movie concept I've ever written. And that was in Iraq.
When you were in Iraq?
Yeah. This is the first time I'm pulling this one out.
Oh, man. I
I was
feel
in
honored.
Iraq and have a bunch of, this is it right here. And this is called, what I just called it recently. A Story from My Dream, 05/28/05. The boys riding on the subway. Me, of course, daydreaming about bettering this life I've come to know. That's the first sentence.
Man.
Isn't that crazy? And I wrote this from a dream. And essentially, it's something that I'm still currently working on because I want to redo all of it. But yeah, that was the first movie concept I've ever written.
That was 05.
05.
2005.
Yeah.
So almost 20 years ago.
Almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm finally actually trying to do it.
But I think you having that, it seems like you've always been poetic, man.
I always have.
So-
I don't even know where that came from, bro. I always have. dude.
Expression. It had to come out. You found your way into the most expressive form.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've always written some kind of poetic expression.
Mm-hmm. Are you
I don't know.
still documenting? Are you journaling today?
Yeah, it's all my notes on my phone now.
So another 18 years, you whip those out.
We'll see. That's cool, man. Well, shit, dude. I know you got to catch a flight, man, and I appreciate you being here. Seriously, working with you on Mayans was cool, man, but that's not like just becoming a friend.
Yeah.
You know, being able to smoke cigars together.
Yeah, we got to do that again.
Yeah, we will.
Next
we
time
will.
I'll hang longer.
Next time you come out here for a little while, I'll have more time, and we'll definitely do it. I'll be in San Antonio for the Thanksgiving break. So if you and your girl looking to do something, you guys choose San Antonio, let me know.
That'd be rad.
Me and my wife, we have a babysitter because my mother-in-law's there, so we can go have a dinner tonight or something like that.
Okay.
So if we do that, but seriously, just becoming a friend of yours has been cool. It was an easy relationship. I felt like it was very natural, and then getting to smoke cigars and opening up, and hopefully that project we talked about. I don't even want to say it, but the project we talked about, we want to film.
It's a good one.
Let's start working on that. Let's get to writing it. I have time now,
I'm on it.
and I'll get with my boy in Utah, and let's really kind of create something with that because I love to do what we said we're going to do with that.
Yeah. I still watch what you sent me, just motivation every day.
Good, man. Anything you want to give a shout out to, you're more than welcome to right now. You said, what was the camp is No Limit?
Camp No Limits. Camp No Limits changed my life. Yeah.
For kids, if someone's watching this right now and they have kids with, different limbs in situations, how would they be able to find it? Is it just campnolimits.com?
NoLimitsFoundation.com or .org. I'm sorry. NoLimitsFoundation.org or just search Camp No Limits. Instagram, social media, we're all up on there. You can see videos, clips, kind of what we do. Physical therapy, occupational therapy, support groups. If you're a parent of a kid with it, I think feel free to reach out to myself or to the organization. Not alone. There's a lot of us thriving, crushing it, doing what we do.
Yeah. I'll make sure I tag your social media as well. So just make sure you send me that later.
Yep.
Alex, honestly, it was great to have you. Thanks for taking the trip, dude. Thanks for being here in the room with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And hit me up if you need anything. You already know that.
Always.
Thank you guys for listening to a podcast. You guys know our sponsors, Core Medical Group. You guys know GMR Gold and Bullion Box. Go get your subscription today. Don't forget, we also have Modern Gun School. You can get Modern Gun School paid for with your GI Bill and your VA benefits. They are an online, at-home armorer school. You can get certified. They offer you all the information you could ever ask for. There's other ones like it, but they're not the same. Okay, you got to go check them out. Everest.com. It is a trading post for outdoor equipment. You guys will love it. If you guys love going outdoors, it's like it's something I can never explain or put words to it. Go check out Everest.com. If you're an outdoorsman, you can find everything you need at one website. Go check them out. You guys already know. Thank you very much for following me. You guys check out the YouTube for the full. You got some clips all over the place. Either way, this is VinnyRoc and my boy Alex, and we're out.
Peace.
How you doing?
Appreciate my brother showing up.
It's the end of a generation. All our willows are dying.
Man, he was everything. No joke, Karma. Anything good I am, it's because I am. Maybe it's fucking karma.
That's no such thing. It's just bullshit people make up just to make sense of shit that don't need to be making sense of.
Bitch, maybe my uncle's covering up with a tarp. Yeah, Doc Carver's wife, that's whose yard they were working on. She want the neighbors to see a dead Mexican on her perfect front lawn.
That's my willow. It makes sense. I just want that motherfucker.
Yeah, no kidding. People throwing tarps on him while he was still alive. The Pindeos are all I got left.
Whether you want us or not, until it's us getting put into these fucking holes.
Thanks. You're making my day just a little more depressing.
Finish your beer. It's over with dogs and shit on his fucking lawn.
Did we fucking know him?
Oh, we're definitely fucking know him. Yeah. Fucking that motherfucker.